Hi, guys, this is Ms. Dow, and I'm excited to talk to you today about work ethics standards and the work ethics certification process. You are probably familiar with these Grade 8 standards because some of them obviously applied to you if you got into the Early College and Career Center as a junior or as a senior when you went through that application process. And then if you stayed in the program, then you've obviously been very successful. And so that means that you have a little bit of an advantage over others in regards to filling out this work ethic application. I'm just going to review some of those with you right now. They are attendance and tardiness, personal responsibility and accountability, academic performance, work habits and persistence, punctuality, preparedness, and organization, respectful interactions, communication, cooperation and teamwork, and community service. And I'm going to go over these a little bit more in depth once we get into the application process. The next step you want to do is you want to go to www.hardin.kyschools.us, and that's going to bring you to the Hardin County Schools website, which I'm sure you're familiar with. What you may not be familiar with is this little tab here, employment, because you have never had to apply for a job with Hardin County Schools. But if you were going to apply for any position in the district, then you would click on this button. And so we're going to go ahead and do that now. And you're going to click on View and Apply for Open Positions. When I click on that, it takes me to the Hardin County Schools job application website. And if we scroll down, you're going to see all the jobs listed that you could apply for in the district. The one you're going to apply for specifically this time is Student Work Ethics Certification Application. When you click on this, it will only show up for you January 4th through January 8th. If you see it at another time outside that window, it will not let you proceed outside of that January 4th through January 8th window unless another window has been provided to you to apply for work ethics certification. So it's very important that you make sure that you click on this during that window of time and that you don't wait until the last day. And I'll go over that more as we go through the process, but just be mindful to give yourself enough time to fill out the application. We're going to go ahead and click apply. And then here, apply for this position. See, I'm on student work ethics certification application, only applicable to high school seniors. And I will click apply for this position. Now, I already have an account with Hardin County Schools. So you can see that my username and password has popped up here. You, however, are most likely a new applicant. So you're going to go through the process of creating a new account and apply. You can do this with your Hardin County Schools email. Once you have done that, anytime you log back in after you've been signed in or after you created an account, it will save it for you like it's done for me here. If for some reason you forget your password or your username, you can click here under I forgot my user and password. But I highly recommend you just go ahead and save it so that you can log in with easy access. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to sign in. All right, and then it's going to ask me different things in these tabs. And so I'm just going to follow along as if I'm a student. So it says the application for work ethics certification is available only to high school students, and it's going to ask me if I'm a senior. Again, just for purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to say yes. And then am I currently enrolled in the early college program? And I'm going to say yes and save and continue. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to ask me for all of my information, right? And if there's anything wrong, I'm just going to go ahead and update that and enter in all my other information that it wants to know, okay? It's going to take me through that process with all of these things that are listed here on the tab, all right? The next thing is going to be the application instructions, and then it's going to ask for your school GPA. All right, that school GPA, you're going to be able to find in Infinite Campus. All right, so you'll just log into your Infinite Campus. It's not going to be like on the 4.0 scale. It will be on the 100-point scale. So you'll just enter that number, whatever it is. And again, you can find that on Infinite Campus. It's going to ask you who your English 4 teacher is. Go ahead and put Miss Dow down for that. You may not have had me for your English teacher. You might have had someone over at ECTC, but for the purposes of applying for this application, I am the Early College and Career Center Senior English Teacher, so go ahead and put me down. The next is your employment information. It is very particular about you putting in dates that line up with each other. So this will be a great opportunity for you to pull out your resume and use it to help you fill out this employment information. The next is your extracurricular. This could be any sports you've done or clubs you participated in. And then it's going to be school attendance. As a senior, you should have impeccable attendance if you've been over here at the Early College and Career Center. So that's very important. Make sure that you double check what your attendance is in Infinite Campus, but you shouldn't have missed any days. The next part is organization community service. And this is where a lot of students end up having trouble because they get confused. They will put all of the community service they have done, but they will forget to put the actual amount of hours. Okay, you have to have 20 hours minimum, but more than that is very beneficial to you in filling out this application process. Remember that community service hours are anything that you do not get paid for or you do not receive a grade for. And you can go all the way back to your junior year, sometimes your sophomore year, depending on what it is. So you want to make sure that you put things where you have given back to the community. Sometimes this is working for a parent's business or an internship. Maybe you mowed lawns or you did babysitting. Maybe you helped out in the school system in some way, or you helped a teacher. Okay, all of that fits. If you're unsure, please just reach out to me or reach out to Miss Wright or Mr. Robbins, and we can all guide you further on what community service counts. All right, the next thing is the actual work ethic certification essay. I'm going to send you a separate document through Remind so that you can see more specific instructions on this. But the essay is going to ask you to have 3 paragraphs. Now, because you've been at the Early College and Career Center, our expectation is a little bit higher. So we want you to go ahead and write 5 paragraphs. That means you're going to have an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So what goes in those 3 body paragraphs? Well, the first thing could be that you talk about how those grade 8 work ethic standards have applied to your past. Okay. That next body paragraph is going to be, how are those grade 8 work ethic standards? What are they doing for you right now? How are they applicable in your life in the present? All right. And then that third body paragraph can be about how you think those grade 8 work ethic standards are going to help you in the future or in areas where you think you might grow in context to the grade 8 work ethic standard. Okay. And then just be mindful of all the things that you've hopefully been learning in your English or writing courses. You know, we want to have proper capitalization. We want to be very mindful of grammatical errors and just making sure that we don't have any typos. You know, there's a tendency when filling out such a big application like this to rush through and just be done with it, you know. But really make the effort to go back over your writing. I suggest, you know, writing it in Google Docs or Word and then copying it over so that it is the best possible version that you can submit. Okay. All right. The next thing is your references. This is very important because in context to your references, you do not want to upload a letter of recommendation. And normally you do want to request letters if it's a scholarship or a college application and those types of things, you definitely want those letters of recommendation. Okay, but in this particular process with the work ethic certification, we are not going to upload any letters, even though it's going to prompt you to do so. Instead, you're going to enter in the email addresses in the space provided. Okay, you want to enter in those Hardin County school emails of your teachers and coaches. And once you do that, they're going to get a survey on you where they will rank you in context to some of the skills that we think you should possess in regards to your real world work ethic. Okay. You have to have 2 teachers or coaches fill these out for you. I suggest that you fill out more than 2 because there's no guarantee that the person that you put down is actually going to fill out that reference sheet for you. So what are some things you can do to make sure that they do fill it out for you so that you qualify for work ethic certification? Well, the first and most important one is that you reach out to the person that you want to give you the electronic recommendation. Right? Ask them their permission. Is it okay if you put them down? And then follow up with them. Hey, did you get this in your email? Would you mind to fill it out for me? It takes less than a minute. I would really appreciate it. You were one of my favorite mentors or favorite teachers. Thank you so much. Something along those lines. You could do that over the phone. You could do that through email. You could do that through Remind. Regardless of how you choose to do it, you need to reach out to the people that you've sent these electronic references to, okay? The next thing that you can do is you can put people that you actually think will fill it out. If you know that there's a teacher or a coach that maybe is not going to have the time in that moment and they communicate that to you, then don't put them down just hoping that they'll fill it out. Put some other people as well to make sure that you're covered. You can always go back into your application and look under the tab of references and see how many have been submitted. Okay, you won't be able to see what they said about you, but you will be able to see which ones were submitted. So I suggest putting up to 5 people, so then you're definitely covered to make sure that you're getting references, and you account for things like people forgetting or them having a very busy work schedule or load at that time. And you get what you need from that person. Okay. Next is attachments and what you are going to upload there. Okay. Even though you're not going to upload a letter of recommendation, you will upload that resume. Now, if you had Miss Dow as your English teacher, then we worked on that your junior and senior year. So you should have a resume ready to go that's updated. That resume should most definitely include the Early College and Career Center and highlight those more advanced classes that you took, okay? It could also include your employment, but you definitely do not want to leave out any of your advanced academic honors, okay? So put all that on there. It shouldn't really be more than 1 page. 2 is okay, but 3 is unnecessary. You have not been in school that long, so there's really just no need. So if you are unsure about your resume or you feel like you did not get that exposure while you were in high school, please come see me and I can give you some samples and I can help you out to make sure that you have an accurate resume ready to upload. Now, in context to uploading that resume, think back when you entered that employment information, okay? The employment information in your resume should be a match, okay? You want to make sure that you don't put something down in your resume that isn't listed in your employment information or vice versa, okay? Your resume is basically your word that you have done these things. And you are opening the door for when we have work ethic interviews for someone to ask you about the things that you've put on your resume or in your employment information. So you want to be prepared to talk about those things and make sure that they're truthful and accurate. And that's the case for any job that you will apply for in the future. All right, and then you're going to just review that application, okay? Take the time, make sure that you didn't make any mistakes. Okay, this is very important, all right? The first way that someone's going to get to know you with this work ethic process is virtually. So, you want to make the best first impression, which means we pay attention to all the little details that are going to present us to someone. All right, once you get to the point where you've submitted your application, we're going to talk about the work ethic interviews. So if you score a minimum of 20 out of 25 points, then you will be granted a work ethic certification interview. That means that you have to make sure that that work ethic application is top notch, right? And if you get all those points and you get to the interview process, then they're going to ask you about the grade 8 work ethic standards and how they apply to you in your life and in the past, in the present, and in the future, similar to what you covered in your essay, right? And they might ask you other job interview questions as well. So you might be asking, okay, well, how do I get these points? How do I build up to make sure that I'm going to get this work ethic interview, right? So you want to make sure that your attendance is good. If you've been at the Early College and Career Center, then your attendance most likely is near perfect. So that probably isn't going to be an issue. You want to make sure that you look in Infinite Campus and see what your academic performance is, if you're wanting to know what kind of points you're going to get in that regard. And you can just see it's listed here. There's 3 points for every A, 2 points for B, and 1 point for C. All right, and then you're going to get points for that community service that I already talked to you about. Notice it's 2 points for students that have completed 20 or more hours and 1 point for students that completed 10 or more. Again, lots of students forget, they fill out all these wonderful things that they did in their community, but they forget to put the actual number of hours. This is one error you do not want to make a mistake on, because you want to make sure that you get those points, okay? Other things you get points for are the work habits, and persistence. Remember, people are going to be reviewing you, your coaches, or maybe your teachers, or whoever you've put down to review you in those references on that work ethic application, electronically. And you're going to get points for what people say about you. So again, just make sure that those emails are accurate. Make sure that you're putting down people that will give you, a glowing review, and follow up, ask their permission and then remind them, check and see if they got it. Okay. And then you can see the other categories here about, being respectful and cooperation and teamwork. And you can see how those points add up. Again, you have to earn 20 out of 25 to get that actual interview. And then once you get the interview, that's going to be an amazing opportunity for you to meet people in the community, and just build that relationship and get a little bit of interview practice. That interview practice is something that will really benefit you when you go to apply to other careers, whether it be in Hardin County or some other county or even some other state. It's nice to just have that extra practice underneath your belt and to be able to network with people that might be able to help you one day in the future. Who knows? One of the people that you're speaking to in the interview may be one day employing you. And then given enough time, you may rise up and be employing them, right? So it's a great opportunity for you that you really want to take advantage of. So you want to make sure you dress your best, you come in with a winning attitude, and that you really just possess really optimistic traits about your future, and what you want to do with your life, okay? All right, guys. So we covered a lot today. Remember, it's going to start out with those grade 8 work ethic standards, and you really keeping that in mind as you fill out the application of how those have impacted you. And think about that in every answer that you give as you're filling it out, writing your essay, and thinking about your references, okay? I am here anytime you need me, so just email me or shoot me a message on Remind. And again, Miss Wright and Mr. Robbins are also here to help you. So if you need anything at all, just let us know. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful.